going on in that continent is in control or is in hand of Africans, not West anymore. We want to make sure that every resources that came out from Africa is in control by Africans, not by Westerners anymore. And this is what we have to make very clear to France and other relative EU countries, to understand that Africans don't want you to get in control of their resources. Africans don't want you anymore to get in control of their political system or their governments. Africans want Africa to be African resources or African government or African political system to be controlled by themselves, not by the West anymore. And if France is denying their embassy to leave Niger, that was the best matter that brings me here today, because it was hurting me when I listened to the statements of Mr. Macron from France, who is a puppet and who is a threat to African liberation, who is never ready to let Africa go. But in the statements of Macron, France, and we will come to that, Westerners said they want democratic leader in Niger, but they have no democracy. They do not have democracy, but they said they want democratic leader in Niger. And they are not seeing the military junta, Abdurrahman, as the leader of France. And that's why today we want to go into that little bit, and I will tell you the statements of Mr. Macron from France also. Macron says West is weak because they are not helping France to take back Africa. And my peoples, this is what I want you to understand. That is a statement from Macron. Emmanuel Macron from France, the president of France. That is a statement from him, saying that the West is weak because the West refused to help France to take back Africa. And whatever France was stolen from Africa, they are sharing it to their fellow Western countries. Except one country, that is Italy. That's why Italy is against France. Italy is happy that France is down. Italy is happy to see France downfall. Because whatever France was stolen from Africa, they were sharing it with Germany, with Austria, with other countries, with Belgium, with Denmark, with the Netherlands, with Spain, but they are not sharing it with Italy. All the resources they have been stolen from Africa. And now, Macron says, France ambassador will not leave Niger because the authority didn't say they should leave. Niger coup leader cut off light and water from the ambassador's house in Niger. Bravo. Bravo to the Niger ambassador, to the Niger coup leader. That is not all. And I will send this message to the Niger coup leader, Abdurrahman, that we have seen your effort, what you did, and that is not enough. We want you to bundle him and deport him. France ambassador in Niger should be bundled and tied and in a handcuff to deport him without nothing. Because when he was going to Niger, he didn't go there with anything, and he should leave Niger without anything, without no valise or anything. That message is going to Niger military junta. Abdurrahman, we want you to really descend on the ambassador of France and bundle him, deport him back to his country. Africa belongs to Africans and Niger belongs to Nigerians, not France. One statement that the Macron says, I will remain Macron, please share my video to reach to all France citizens out there and their clueless president called Mr. Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Macron says, France president, says, without France, Mali, Burkina, and Niger will not exist. Even the entire Africa will not exist. This is a word from, I want you all to take note, Africans, my fellow Africans. This is a word from France president. Mr. Macron is not feeling ashamed and is not feeling afraid to utter that kind of rubbish from his mouth. To say that without France, Mali, Burkina, Niger, and even the entire Africa will not exist. That's what make me so angry. That statement make me so angry to come out to let my peoples know the rubbish word that this man is uttering from his mouth toward Africans. If Mr. Macron, France president, says without France, Mali, Niger, Burkina, and the entire Africa will not be existing today, then I want to say this to Mr. Macron and all the France citizens to realize this, that without Africa, France will not be existing. Even entire Europe will not be existing today. The entire Europe and France is existing today because of Africa. We feed you, we protect you, we whatever sensitive materials you have today was from Africa. You stole it from Africa. Whatever you create today was created by the African raw materials. Whatever you are manufacturing today, you are manufacturing it from African resources. So if Mr. Macron, you think without France, Africa cannot survive. Now African says you should leave them alone. If you are really so, if Macron, France president, is really so, without France, Mali, Burkina, Niger will not exist, even entire Africa will not be existing. So why don't you leave them alone? Africans are asking you to go out, and you are insisting to stay. You are insisting to stay. Why? Because you know without we, France cannot go. Without we, the entire Europe and the entire West will not survive. That's a message, very clear message, Mr. Macron, you should understand. And all the clueless French citizens who are supporting Macron, they are the stupid leader, should understand is that if your president, Mr. Macron, says that without France, the Mali, Burkina, Niger, and the entire Africa will not be existing, then why are you insisting to live in Africa? When we are chasing you away, forcing you, go out from Africa, then why are you still insisting to stay in that continent? Why? That should be a question to you, Mr. Macron. If you think you are smart enough, I will tell you Africans are more smarter than any other person living in France. Africans are more smarter than you, Mr. Macron, and all your parliament members. We are more smarter than you, and we are watching every movement and every step that you people are taking. You cannot insult Africans. At the end of the day, you stole our resources each and every day. Benefit yourself. Without we, there will be no light in France. Without we, the Africans. Macron, your word is a word that I will want my video to reach to Macron. And Mr. Macron, Emmanuel Macron, if you want to find me, please, you have, my contact is there. I will not hide. I live in Europe here. So I will not hide. Whatever I will say to you today, Mr. Macron, if you don't like it, then arrest me. I live in Europe. I will not be afraid for you to come after me. I am ready for it. But I will tell you the truth today, that you are very stupid. And you don't even understand what you are saying. You think you are smart? You can be tormenting Africans for a decade. We have been understanding all the threatenings and all whatever you were doing in France, in Burkina, in Mali, in Niger, in Guinea, in Senegal, whatever you are doing there, whatever France is doing there, we know it. We have been written and recording everything down. And we are not ready to see any puppet or anybody from West to come to Africa and claim Africa to be your own. You don't rule Africa, Mr. Macron. You rule France. You can turn France into a beast country. We don't care. But you cannot rule Africa. And you cannot tell Africans how to behave. And you cannot make any law for Africans anymore. That is over, is over. We are not ready to see you insulting Africans while you know that you survive by Africa. But Mr. Macron, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, you are not feeling ashamed to come out in media to stand and utter that rubbish, to say that without France, Mali, Burkina, Niger will not be existing, even entire Africa will not be existing. Then I also say this, without Africa, France will not be existing, and even the entire Europe or the entire Western world will not be existing without Africa. We understand. We are not like our forefathers. We have been studying. When you fool our forefathers in this way, telling them that without we, you people cannot survive, then they live in the hand of you peoples as slaves. You use them. That is not our time. Our generation say no to slavery and no to maltreatments and no to the policy, the foreign policy that from the West to Africa. It will not be existing in Africa anymore. We will form our own foreign policies in Africa. France President Macron says that without France, the entire Africa will not be existing. People must understand one thing. Without France, the entire Africa will not be existing. But that Africans are chasing you away today, you don't want to go out. Today, I want you to know one thing. France ambassador in Niger should be handcuffed and deported back to France. Not in peace, because they don't want peace anymore. I will say this in media, and I'm saying it in media, and I'm saying it very loud and clear, that if the France ambassador is still insisting and France government is still insisting that they will still get in control of Africa, then we are ready for them. If they are ready for war, then they are welcome. I make this very clear to France president, especially to the France president Emmanuel Macron. We are ready for it. If you people are insisting to stay in Africa, feel ashamed of yourself. The Westerners, you should feel ashamed of yourself. That we feed you each and every fucking day. We make you have light energy. We give you gas for free. We give you oil. We give you platinums. We give you raw materials, mineral resources for free. But you people still see us as fools. Like we don't know nothing. And we don't know what we are doing. Come on, it's enough, it's enough. We cannot be feeding you, the Western peoples, while you people see us as a fools. And now we say it's enough. We are no more going to feed the full-grown men like Westerners who see us as fools. And today, Mr. Macron, you are not feeling ashamed of yourself that you are not even capable to take care of your country. We are taking care of your country for you. We feed your country. We pay bills in your countries. We give you raw materials for free. You cheated Africans for so long, Mr. Macron. You know how we see you? We see you as a fool who don't understand what he is doing. What Africans understand. And we have a time for you. That time limit is over. Whatever you have been doing before is before. It can never repeat again, and it cannot be repeated again. Mr. Macron, France president, I call you a fool. And in front of you, I would still call you a fool. Because you think France can rule Africa again. It's not possible. No. France can only rule an African country that is not being ruled by a military. But any country in Africa that is being ruled by a military or that is in control of a military leader today is over. That country will not be ruled by France anymore. And we are ready for anything that France is ready for. And I will give you this promise today. If the ambassador of France refuses to leave Niger before 15th of September, then ambassador, whatever happened to the ambassador of France is not our problem. And it's not caused by Africans. I will tell you this today. Mark my word. Something different will happen than to cut light and cut water from the ambassador house. That is a little thing. But before on the 15th of September, if nothing being done and France didn't remove their ambassador from Niger, I promise you, France ambassador is going to become an history. And we are not going to take the responsibility of anything that happened to the France ambassador. France will take the responsibility of anything that happened to their ambassador in Niger before on the 15th of September. UK new Prime Minister meet with Nigerian Chief of Army Staff. Why? Because UK is ready to push Nigeria to a war with Niger. But that same UK destroy Nigeria and steal all the oil and the gas from Nigeria. Now, since Niger is still standing strong to make sure that France go away from Africa and from their country, they are trying to push Nigeria. But I will call on to Nigerian military chief of staff to understand this, that whatever meeting they had with the UK new prime minister is not our problem. But our problem is, let you know what you will do in Africa. Weapons are in African territories to put Africans together to murder each other. Westerners supply weapons to Africa so that Africans may harm each other. Any weapons in an African man possession is there for that African man to be used to fight against his fellow man. There is no African man in possession of weapon that can use that weapon to defend his own African territory. Africans have been supplied with weapons to fight against their fellow Africans, but Africans have never been supplied with weapons to fight against the enemies of Africa. The biggest problem we are having, the biggest problem. Even our militaries in Africa have been supplied with the weapons to fight against their fellow African country, but they have never been supplied with a weapon to fight against the enemies of Africa. If not today, before UK, you will give and support to the Nigerian army. I think you should give support to the, if UK want the freedom of Africa. Before they will give support to the Nigerian army to fight against Niger, I think they should give weapons to the Nigerian armies to defend themselves out from the threat. But France and UK is all the same. The same way France want to get in control of Africa, the same way UK is using Africa. United Kingdom is a place whereby they only want to rule Africa like France. That Nigeria that we are seeing today is being demolished and being undeveloped by the same UK. The percentage of oil that was being stolen from Nigeria going to UK is almost 77% of that oil was gone to UK. America. Nigerians never benefit from that oil. That same UK is sitting today trying to give supporting hand to the Nigerian armies and supply them with weapons to fight against their brother. That is the only thing they are good at, to put Africans against each other so that there could be war in Africa, and they sit in their Western medias and started blabbing and calling Africans a name. We have never seen anything like that in their political systems in Europe. In their own political system, they take care of their own political system. They never want Africans to intervene into their own political system. They never want Africans to know how they run their political systems, but they always want to know how Africans run their political system because they get in control of the African political system. The Westerners are in control of the African political system, and that is going to be something that we are going to cut off now. The Westerners have no right to include themselves in an African political system. African political system is an African politics. It's not an Western politics. Westerners should face their politics and solve their problems in Westerns. Since they don't have food, they don't have gas, they don't have oil, they don't have fuel, they don't have gold, whatever they have, they stole from Africa. They have nothing. So they should face their own problems. If you came to France here, they have no light at this moment of time. That's why France is doing everything to make sure that they gain that uranium from Niger again. They are not ready to lose. And France, I make it very clear in my last video that France will never leave Africa alone except we try to go in war with France. That will be the only way to get ourselves from France. France is not ready to let Africa go. If we Africans want to let go of France, is only to fight against France. France is not ready to go in peace. They must go in pieces. France ambassador in Niger, we go back to France in pieces because he is not ready to go in peace. And Emmanuel Macron is not ready to let Africa be in peace. And you are going to leave Africa alone in pieces. I said it and I will say it anywhere. Any place you take me, arrest me, take me anywhere, I will still repeat the same thing. Emmanuel Macron, you are a fool if you think Africans will let you get in control over them again. That is over. And we are not going to let you, young boy, small boy, treating our fathers like dogs in Africa. You have to decide how our fathers should live in Africa, while our fathers have sons that are more older than you. This is a big shame on some of the coward leaders in Africa that call themselves ECOWAS leaders. A big shame on you peoples. Emmanuel Macron is just like a child to you peoples. You are all older than Emmanuel Macron. And Emmanuel Macron is fooling you, the African leaders who are up to 90 years. And someone is sitting down in France here, using you elders who are more older than Emmanuel Macron. But today, that Emmanuel Macron, that small boy, is using you, the African elders, who call yourself an ECOWAS leaders. You think you are doing right thing by betraying your own Africa and being with the West. You think you are doing the right thing, calling yourself an ECOWAS leader? All those leaders I am seeing in ECOWAS, they are all cowards who are afraid to fight for their own people, but they are not afraid to defend the West and fight against their own peoples. It's a big shame. Sometimes when I think about this, I regret why I go out from African military. Why I rejected the African military. I regret it today. Because if I'm a military today in Africa, based in Africa, still keeping on being a military, I would rather die. But I will never let Any coward elder in Africa who call yourself a president or a minister or a governor to let you hand over everything in Africa to the West for free. You will become an history. If they like, let them call me assassinator. But to assassinate the foolish leaders in Africa who are trying to put Africa in mess, to assassinate them is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Even God will bless you for taking them down. Emmanuel Macron, who is not even up to 50 years, is playing with the mind of Bola Tinubu and other eldest peoples who call themselves elders. You are almost going to 90 years now. You African elders call yourself ECOWAS leaders. You are all going to 90 years right now. Some of you are going to 80 years right now. But Emmanuel Macron, who is not even up to 50 years, a young boy like Emmanuel Macron, is using you, the African elders, like a fool, like a toy. And you leave him. You pretend that you want to be, you want the West to call you a great leader, but your own people are angry at you. You want the West to appreciate you. A white man will never appreciate a black man if they are not drinking your blood. A white man can only appreciate a black man if they are drinking your blood and using you like a toy. This is what I want people to understand. A white man can never laugh with you and call you a good man. As far as you are a black man, realize this from today. A white man will never call you a good man as a black man if they are not drinking your blood. They can only call you a good man if they know that you are a fool. They call you a good person. A white man can only call an African leaders a good leader. Leaders who are fool. Doesn't know what is going on. Today, if you come to the Western world, they see Ghanaian president as a good president. They always describe him as a good president. Bola Tinubu, they always describe him as a good president. Why? Because they are drinking their blood. They know that they are fools. Gambian president, they always call them that, oh, you know, Mr. President, you are a good president. Since you came to the country, everything is good. When Gambians are dying one by one, when Gambians are suffering, everything in Gambia is hard. But today, that president is praised by the West. So what is that showing you? That the West always happy. They feel happy when they see a leader in Africa who is suffocating his own peoples. That's what the West want. They want to see someone who will suffocate Africans. Someone who will become a leader in Africa and suffocate his own peoples. They feel so happy. They call you a great leader so that you can continue, move on, suffocating your peoples. But any leader who stands for his own peoples, they call them dictator, a killer. No, it's not a democratic leader. No, it's doing this. Sierra Leone president, I don't blame that one. I've been watching over him. Sierra Leone president is the most coward president that I've ever seen in Africa. After all what happened in 2021 in Sierra Leone, after all what you did to Sierra Leone citizens, you're still not satisfied. After all what UK did to Sierra Leone, after all what the Western world pushed you as a leader of Sierra Leone to maltreat your own people, send militaries to brutally beat your own peoples, kill them. The West is sitting down laughing at you because they are using you to suffocate your own peoples. But you still call yourself the president of Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone, everything is high. Go to Sierra Leone. Fuel is high. Everything price, things are difficult. Sierra Leone citizens are not living in peace and are not living in harmony. The West is using Sierra Leone resources to benefit themselves and using the Sierra Leone president to suffocate the Sierra Leone citizens. But why are African leaders like this? Why are we in this kind of mess, my brothers and sisters? Let's go and talk a little bit about the BRICS that we are all proud of. Because I have been seeing a white man who came out threatening Julius Malema EFFC, saying that the so-called DA, they are calling Julius Malema an enemy. I have seen it, and I will not talk about it. I have a time to talk about it. There are reasons why BRICS will eliminate US hegemony. In due course, facing it to conform to international rules and orders. BRICS will make up 45% of the global economy. BRICS immediately have a GDP 30% larger than the United States. US oil advantage are lost as BRICS expand 60% global oil reserves. We have been all seeing these things are happening. The 5 core members of BRICS already contain more than 40% of the humanity, and many countries wanted to join, including Indonesia. America elected itself as world policeman. NATO elected itself as world global security body. Who elected America as the world policeman? Who elected UK as the world security man? Who elected NATO as the world security peacemaker? Who elected them? They have problems. They couldn't solve their own problems and pretending that they want to make peace in Africa. What peace do you want to make in Africa? I am asking the Western world, the Westerners, what peace do you want to make in Africa when you have war in Ukraine? You no more talk about, because you don't care about whatever happened in Ukraine. You don't care about Ukrainians. What all you were saying about Ukraine because you want to use Ukraine to bring down Russian President Putin. That's why. That was the only reason. You use Ukraine as a tool to suit Russia. Since you see that the weapon you are using to destroy Russia is not capable, the weapon is not powerful. Now you all forget about, all the Western peoples forget about Ukraine now. Nobody is talking about Ukraine. All you want to talk about is Niger. Because the uranium power, the power of energy, Russia got it from the Western world. Russia is no more giving light energy to the Western world. Russia is no more giving gas to the Western world. The only place you could get it is in Africa. Now you all face Africa, forget about the problems you have in West. We have millions of problems in West. No, who is talking about it? Nobody. Now you want to talk about the little problems we have in Africa. Our problems are our problems and we will solve it without the West. And we don't want the West to be included in our political systems, not to talk of when we have problems. We don't have problems. We are okay, whatever is happening in Niger. Every other Nigerian citizen is happy with the military junta Abdurrahman. Every other simple African citizen is happy with the military junta Abdurrahman. So what is the problem there? What are you trying to fight for? Democracy. Well, that democracy is for who? For the West, but not for Africans. You are fighting for your own democracy in Africa. You are not fighting for any bloody damn democracy. You are fighting for your own security too, so that you could have the best way to steal in Africa still. But you are not fighting for democracy. Why are you fighting democracy for? Who need democracy? We don't need democracy in Niger. In any African country, we don't need democracy. If you go to the West, they don't have democracy. The Western world, they have no democracy. The same way you describe and emphasize and bring up and democracy rule to Africans, then tell Africans human right also. Tell Africans to accept human right. Emphasize the human right to Africans. Why are you not doing that? The West is never telling Africans how human rights supposed to be done. They are never telling Africans that you should be in human right. They take Africa out from human right and give us something that will destroy us, that the so-called democracy. Who need democracy? Who need it? When you, the Westerners who created democracy, who make every simple law, rule, and regulation in democracy and puzzle it like a letter and send it to Africans to accept. African leaders will read it and accept it by force, as far as there is 20 million on top of it. To each and every African leader, they all accept. Yes, we accept. They will not even read the letter to know what the letter contains. What are the rules? But as far as the $20 million is on top of a paper that should be signed and stamped by African leaders, they sign and stamped without knowing the content of that letter and without knowing the consequences of accepting that letter from the West. I swear to God, this is the best time to stop the West. And this will be the time that West will stop. As we are all seeing, if you don't know as an African, I will tell you today. Europeans are suffering. Americans are suffering. UK is in a range of falling down. They are all in a way of falling down. They will never sit in media and tell you what they are facing. Because if they tell you, you the Africans are going to be proud of yourself, I am the only one who will sit in media here and tell you what they are passing through. Their Western medias will not tell you what Europe is passing through, what Westerners are passing through. But they are passing through an hell right now. Since this, just one country in Africa said, no, we don't want you. That is Niger, just one country. What if all African countries says, no, we don't want to work with West anymore? Then West is going down. Westerners will be in Africa to work for them, for Africans like a slave. Believe me, nobody is going to tell you this. That only one country in Africa called Niger deny them from having access to their natural resources. That is destroying Europe today. Europeans no more have light energy. The only light energy they have right now, they are reserving themselves and punishing themselves not to use all. Till further notice will come that they have access to Niger uranium. Without that Niger uranium, there will be a time Europe will lose light. We have already, it began in France. France is losing light. France cannot give light energy to all its countries or to all its states or to all its cities right now, as the moment I'm speaking to you right now. France doesn't have enough light energy to supply the whole France. They have to give some and deny some in 4 hours and give it to some in 4 hours. Why? That's why France is mad. And France will never leave Africa because they don't have light energy. If France leave Africa, they will go in hunger, no light, no gas. They will be begging. They will become beggars. And you know what it means? Do you know what it means when Europe there is no light? Do you know what it will cause? I will tell you the Africans today. Europeans survive through light energy and gas. Because without that gas and that light energy, do you know coal will kill them here? When it came to the cold time, when it came to the hot time in summertime, do you know they will die by the heat in Europe here? You know when cold came, they will die without their heaters, without something to hot their houses when there is no light. But nobody is telling you this. It's only in Africa that the Africans are living without thinking about something in your house to hot your house or something in your house to cool your house for you when it's time for hot. In Europe here, nobody can exist without these things. And these things are being used by the light energy or gas energy. And that gas energy and the light energy is from Africa. France, in this cold time, mark it from me today, sign it. We are coming to the call. Before December to January, count how many people will die in France because they don't have much of light energy. And that is going to cause a lot of people to die in France in this cold time. Mark it from December to January. Mark it. Mark my word from today. Trust me. Nobody will tell you what they are passing through. The Western media will never sit and tell you that we are hungry or we are not having food or another part of Europe is suffering because they don't have enough light energy. Nobody, they don't want to tell you their suffering part. They only show you the beautiful part of Europe where people are enjoying. When you see it, you say, no, Europe is nice. No, Europeans are enjoying. No. Without you Africans, Europeans will not enjoy. Without you Africans, Europeans will not put food on table. Without you Africans, they will not have light energy. Without you Africans, they will not have gas energy. They don't have, what do they have? What do they have? What do the West have that they can bluff in front of Africans? What do they have? Why don't they want to leave Africa alone? Do you think what Africa have today, if West have it, West will have a collaboration or business partnership with Africa? Do you think it will happen? What Africa have today, if Western peoples have it and Africa have nothing, do you think they will even have a partnership with Africa? Do you think that will happen? Are you thinking of it? As an African, what Africa have today, they are insisting and forcing themselves on Africa because they know without that Africa, if you know, without me, you can't survive. Even if I tell you go away, you will not go away. You will still insist to be with me because you know when you go away from me, you will die. So that is West and Africa. The West know that going away from Africa is a danger for them. And they don't even want their own citizens to know what is going on. Some of their citizens will call me, will appreciate me for letting them know who is their government. A lot of European citizens contacted me. And someone from America also contacted me. A lot of them. They are white men who are intelligent, who knows what I am saying. Some of them call me to appreciate me for letting them know what is going on after watching my videos. But what the West have, calculated what Africa have today. Think about it and imagine it. What Africa have, the natural resources, the gold, the diamond, the mineral resources, everything that we have today. If it is West that have it, and we don't have gas, we don't have fuel. Imagine how are we going to live? Then we are going to live like a slave. They will come and buy us. They will come and buy us. If what Africa have today, if West is having that, then they will come and buy us and bring us here and use us. I'm telling you, they will go to Africa and buy a human being. If you go to Angleterre today, we have the biggest gold magazine there. Who stole that gold? Queen Elizabeth. The late Queen Elizabeth. His generation, her generation have stolen all those golds from Africa. They built the biggest gold magazine in the whole world. The biggest gold magazine is in the UK. Go there. You will see the biggest gold magazine there. All those golds are from Africa. And you know what BRICS stand for? That's why I am so happy about this project called BRICS. BRICS stand for something that you will not understand. But BRICS is standing for something that to improve and implement and suspend the West. The West will now use that same gold they stole from Africa. They will use it by force to buy something in Africa. That's what BRICS stand for. Do you know, in a BRICS currency, it's a gold, right? American dollar cannot buy nothing from Africa if BRICS stand. Because American dollar is just a paper. It's not a gold. It's a paper. BRICS currency is a gold. It's built by a gold. And if you want to buy something in a BRICS global market, you need to use either oil you want to buy or gas. You need to use gold to buy. So what gold are they going to use? They are going to use the same gold they stole from Africa. So all the gold is going to go back to Africa. That's what BRICS stand for. If you don't know, why are they insisting on destroying the BRICS? They are insisting on to destroy BRICS because they know what BRICS stand for. American dollar cannot buy anything from Africa or from the BRICS global market. UK pound sterling cannot buy nothing from the BRICS global market. Euro cannot buy anything from BRICS global market because BRICS global market will have their own currency. That if you want to buy oil or you want to buy anything from BRICS global market, you are going to use BRICS currency. And that currency is built by gold. And for you to be able to buy anything from BRICS currency, if America want to buy something, they will not be able to use dollar. That's why now American dollar is just a paper. It's just a paper that they print it, photocopy it, and buy things from Africans. Americans will never say we don't have enough money to buy this from Africa. No, they have enough money. They take $100 and photocopy it in millions and go to Africa. It's just a paper that they print for Africans. Euro is just a paper that if Africa, that's why you the African leaders, if you can emphasize on this, you will understand what I'm saying. Because you the African leaders, whenever you came to beg Europeans or Americans or UK for money, they give you whatever amount you want. How do you think they have economy to take care of? They are giving you that huge amount of money. How do you think is that possible? If their money is hard to print, if their money is a gold, but because their currency is just a paper, they print it and give it to you and photocopy it. They photocopy it and give it to you. African leaders, you will hear an African leader, when the Gambian president went to America, they give him $28 million. America give a Gambian president $28 million. He is happy. They print dollar for you, photocopy it. You are carrying photocopy currency. You are happy. And now, when America say Gambia, you should be like this, that's how Gambia will be because of that photocopy $28 million. They have to rule Gambia. They have to own Gambia now. Gambia is owing them. With that 28 million, they have to destroy Gambia. They have to destroy the peace and the security of Gambia and steal every resources in Gambia. Africa, please, to my African leaders, emphasize and sit and think and put hands together and join in BRICS. By Africa joining in BRICS, there is a project that we don't know. There's a secret project in BRICS that plan for Africa. That all African countries, if all African countries come together and join in BRICS, it's not like Africa is going to use BRICS currency. No, but all African they are going to come together and build one currency again for Africa. One currency for the whole Africa. That's the secret project in BRICS. You see South Africa, they are very intelligent. They know what they are doing. South Africa joining in BRICS and become the head of BRICS. South Africa is among the head of the BRICS. And they are not fools. They understand what they are doing. And that is going to help them. Look, BRICS have this secret project for Africa. That if they find out and all African countries join together in BRICS, then we are going to plan something like this. All African countries who are in BRICS are not going to be using BRICS currency in Africa, but they are going to build their own currency that is going to be an African currency. They are going to be A, no more S. They are going to be A. That's African currency that's going to be used in Africa. And if Europeans want to buy any gas or oil or platinum or diamond from Africa, they need to use that currency, not euro. They can come with euro. That's what Russia did to them. That's why euro go down. Why do euro power go down? Because when Russia get angry with Europeans, Russia say, Europeans, the money you are owing me, you are going to pay it with my currency, not with your euro photocopy paper. No, you are going to pay with my Russian currency. That affect the European economy. That set the euro to go down. The Western media will never tell you this. Never. They will never tell you that. Most of the African leaders are there just like a president, but they didn't even know how to improve or how to give power to their currency. Even the currencies we have in Africa, we can give power to them. By Americans coming in, no, America, you cannot buy nothing from us with dollar. You have to use our own currency. That is giving power to your own currency. It gives power to your own currency and bring American currency down. But most of the African leaders don't know this. Whatever Americans want to buy in Africa, they print and photocopy their dollar paper and give it to Africans and get what they want from Africa. They will not be tired to give you that paper. That is just a paper. It's not a currency. American dollar is just a paper. People don't understand. Euro is just a paper. It's not a gold. But the BRICS currency is a gold. And that is taking almost how many percent from the global market right now? I tell you, the BRICS is having 60%. If you check the GDP, BRICS is now having 30% of the GDP. GDP oil reserve right now. So that is affecting them. And that's why they are not happy about the BRICS. They are not happy. But today Africa have all resources, and all our resources have been stolen. When we want to even talk about resources, let's talk about Congo. Congo. Let's talk about Congo. Congo is a country that is the most richest country in Africa since back in the days, for decades. Congo is known as the most richest country in the whole Africa. That Congo you are seeing. Congo is the most richest country in the whole Africa. I will say it very loud. I have never been to Congo. But believe me, that I know Congo so much. Whatever is happening in Congo, I investigate and I study. Congo is the most richest country in the whole Africa. Why? Because I will give an example and I will tell you some story here. That why do people say Berlin Conference? Why do people always say Berlin Conference in Germany? Berlin Conference, Berlin Conference. I will tell you something about that Berlin Conference. Why do they call it Berlin Conference? Because it's not Berlin. Is it about Berlin? What do they discuss there? They discuss it in Berlin, but what do they discuss there? Is it Berlin Conference? No, it's not Berlin Conference. It's called Congo Conference, right? Because they discuss about Congo in Berlin Conference in Berlin. The conference they have in Berlin, that's why they call it Berlin Conference. But it's not about Berlin, it's about Africa. They discuss how to take Africa, how to steal from Congo, how to enrich themselves in Congo by using Congo, right? That's why when you go to Germany right now, the biggest companies in Germany that manufacture resources into anything, those companies are built with the resources from Congo. Trust me, with the resources from Congo. If you go to Germany today, you meet a company that make Maggi. That Maggi The resources is from Congo. They take it from Congo and bring it to Germany and manufacture it as a maji and return it and sell it into the into market. Believe me, Germany, if you go there, the biggest companies that is owned by the German councillors, the biggest companies owned by the German government, trust me, those companies, whatever they manufacture there, the resources is from Congo. So when we talk about the Berlin conference, I don't want to hear Berlin, because Berlin, what do Berlin have? What can they discuss about Berlin? Is Berlin having any resources that can sustain the German economy or European economy? No, Berlin don't have any economy. But they do the conference in Berlin, and people call it Berlin conference, but it's African conference, not even Africa, but Congo conference. Because they stole from Congo. They go there to discuss how to destroy Congo. Congo was having a stone that can give light energy. Congo was having resources that can sustain the Western economy alone. Only Congo, not even entire Africa. Remove Africa. But the only Congo, the resources that Congo have, Congo can sustain and feed Europeans for millions of years. Congo. The Congo in Africa. But that Congo is in a continent where poor people are millions, billions of poor peoples. That Congo in themselves, go to Congo, you meet billions of poor peoples. But that German Europeans are enriching themselves with resources from Congo. But Congo is still poor. You go to Congo, their education system is poor. You go to Congo, all their traveling system, every energy system, every system in Congo is poor. But today, German economy grow up. German become among the most richest countries in Europe. Do you know why? Because of Congo. Congo make German to be strong like this. Congo make German to stand on this feet. If you are talking about the biggest and the strongest countries in Europe, you talk about Germany. Germany is very strong when it came to economy. Their economy is very strong. Germany is very strong when it came to economy. Don't play with them like that. But they build their economy with Congo, with resources from Congo. After having the Berlin conferences, that they call the Berlin conferences, but I call it Congo conference. Because whatever they discuss there is how to deal with Congo. That's what's the discussion. When you check it very well, that's what's the discussion. So it is called the Congo conference in Germany, right? Today, the biggest companies in Germany are manufacturing resources from Congo. All those resources are from Congo. Look, let's talk about Leopold. Leopold killed 25 million people in Congo. 25 million people in Congo. My peoples, my Africa. I tell you these stories not for you to listen to the stories, but to learn and educate yourself from them, from the stories, whatever stories I bring, for you to learn from it. Leopold killed how many peoples? 25 million peoples, 25 million Africans. In Congo, it happens. Who talk about it? Do you ever see that someone is talking about that? Nobody will ever talk about that. Whatever happened to Africans, nobody should talk about that. That's what they said. Even in media, nobody should talk about it. We should not keep quiet here because it happened to Africans. Africans are nobody. But today, look, Leopold is a great man. If you go white people say Leopold is a hero because he killed 25 million Africans. He's a hero. But Hitler, how is Hitler? Call white people and tell them whether Hitler is a good man. They will tell you Hitler is a devil. Hitler is a bad man. Because Hitler deal with white peoples. Hitler don't deal with black men. He deal with white peoples. That's why today, when you go to Germany, you can't even mention Hitler because they hate Hitler so much. When you mention Hitler, they may fight you in Germany. Go to Germany today and mention Hitler and say, oh, Hitler is good. Then you will be a dead man. Trust me. They hate Hitler so much. Every white man in the world hates Hitler. But every white man in the whole world called Leopold a great man. Because Leopold was killing black peoples in Africa, in Congo, 25 million peoples. They appreciate him for destroying black peoples. But if any white man who destroys fellow white man, they call him an evil. But any white man who destroys black peoples, they call him a great man, a hero. You see the strategy? That's why Africa, we need to wake up. There are so many things, so many secret under that they did to black peoples, but they are even suspending them on media. Not only suspending the contents, but suspending anyone who want to talk about those secrets that they did to Africans. They suspend them from media. Do you know, sometimes I face it. Do you know how many of my medias have been blocked? A lot of my social media accounts have been blocked because when I bring out some secret, where there is no insult, it's not a bad content, it go with their policy of that application of that media. It go with their policy. It doesn't adjust their policy. But what will they tell me at the end? Yeah, your content adjusts our policy. We brought it down because it is harassment or it is a bullying. Yeah. When I made a video about Joe Biden, the American coward president, the American chichiman president, I call him the American chichiman president because he's a fool. When I made a video about Joe Biden, about LGBTQ, what do they tell me? They send me an email. This video is banned by all the medias because of Joe Biden. They didn't say because of their policy. No, they said this video is being banned by all medias. And that is fact, because in my Facebook, I see the video was, Facebook bring it down. In YouTube, they take it down. In TikTok, they take it down. They take all the videos down. Why? At the end of the day, they send me an email that this video is being brought down because of Joe Biden. It's being banned by all medias, all social medias. Even when I have some web page where I post the link was got down. You know, they brought the link down. But I still didn't lose the video because I have all the videos in my USB, and I still have the video in my on my USB. And whatever I tell Joe Biden in that place, I didn't insult Joe Biden, but the fact. But it's like when American government is in control of the media CEOs, so they decide how you should speak on them. They decide how you should speak on them. If you are speaking about American President Joe Biden, then you have to say, oh, Joe Biden is a great man. Joe Biden is a good man. But the same that Joe Biden is sitting insulting Africans every day. He's sitting destroying Africa every day. But when an African want to talk about Joe Biden, you have to say, oh, Joe Biden is a great man. You cannot say Joe Biden is an evil. You don't have to say that. You don't have the right. And black men don't have the right to call Joe Biden an evil, but Joe Biden have the right to call African leaders an evil, and Joe Biden have the right to call Africans a fool. But Africans don't have the right to call Joe Biden a fool. No, we are not going to accept that. When you call us a fool, we will call you what is bigger than fool. Joe Biden is not better than any Africans. Joe Biden is an old ass sitting down in America. Can play with Africans. It's enough, it's enough. And there's no white supremacy. If you think you are supremacy to your parents in your house. As a white prime minister or as a white president, if you are supremacy to your parents in your house. Not Africans anymore. We are not seeing white as a supremacy, but seeing you as a slave, as our child who we feed for decades. But you have no respect for your elders. Africans are your elders. Even an African 2 years child is an elder to white man who is 50 years old. Do you know? Respect should be given to whom it belongs to. And honor should be given to someone whom it belongs to. And respect and honor, maximum respect and honor should be given to Africans anywhere. Because we feed the world. We take the responsibility to feed our families. Africa take responsibilities. But one thing about this Africa that take responsibilities to feed every family in the world, that Africa refused to feed its own families. The problem is there. That's what we wanna make that Africa to feed its own peoples and stop feeding other families. Because this Africa you are seeing have been feeding other families, every other family in the world, but refuse to feed its own peoples. This Africa. So we want to make this Africa to realize that he have hungry peoples, he have his own family are hungry, and he have to feed them. And that's what the West don't want. The West still want this Africa to stand and keep on feeding them, abandoning its own families. The Africa we are talking about have its own families. And this Africa abandoned its own families and started feeding other families for a decade. Its own families are hungry, in war, in devastations, in catastrophe. But this Africa is feeding the whole world. Every other part of the world, this Africa is feeding them for free of charge. This Africa have been feeding the Westerners for more than 800 years. This Africa you are seeing. This Africa have been feeding, but this Africa, during these 800 years, this Africa refused to feed its own peoples. So we want to let this Africa know that this Africa have peoples who are very hungry. And this Africa have everything to feed its own peoples, for its own peoples to become the most important peoples in the world. But this Africa that is feeding the whole world, and the whole world look down on this Africa family. So we want to let this Africa know that the peoples this Africa is helping, those peoples are the people destroying this African family. So this Africa must realize its own family and started to feed its own family and started to protect its own family. And that's what the West is against. We are never against the Western for protecting themselves or feeding themselves. We are never against them. Whatever political system they did, Africans are never against. You know, it's only the Western world that intervene in African political system to make it more complicated for Africans so that they could make Africans to kill each other and fight against each other. But we, the Africans, have never intervened in your political system, not to talk of to put you, the Westerners, to fight against each other. Russia and Ukraine fight today is not about we Africans. We don't cause it. You cause it by yourself. America, Europe join together, and UK to put Russia and Ukraine together to fight. Because that's what America, UK, and Europe is good at. They are good at putting peoples together to fight against each other. America don't like Ukraine. Europe don't like Ukraine. UK, they don't like Ukraine. Because if you love Ukraine, you will not push Ukraine and use Ukraine as a weapon to fight against someone that is more dangerous, that is more powerful, and you know that the person you are pushing Ukraine to, that person is more dangerous. It's more powerful. It will not be easy to bring him down. If America cannot bring Russia down, do you think Ukraine will bring Russia down? If Europe, the all European countries, security officers cannot bring Russia down, do you think Ukraine will bring Russia down? If UK, the biggest UK, cannot bring Russia down, you think Ukraine will bring Russia down? But they use Ukraine just to make sure that they destroy Ukraine. Because Ukraine was having some standard. I will tell you that today. Most of the Ukrainians, if they listen to me, they will know what I'm saying. Ukrainians have a standard. Ukraine feed Europe in some way. Ukraine have a big standard. Big standard. That was the first attack of Russia to Ukraine. That was the company they destroyed. That company, oil, Europe have oil, manufacturing oil is in Ukraine. Do you know? Manufacturing farine is from Ukraine, from the grain that Ukraine sustain, from the grain that Ukraine have. They have farine, they supply farine to all Europeans. So they feed Europe in some way. So Europe is jealous of that. They want to see that the West European countries are always suffering. The political system in Europe, I don't want to talk about it because I don't care about them. I don't care however they did their politics. But this I have to say, for my African peoples also to understand this here. You see, we have two parts of Europe. We have Western part, we have the Eastern part of Europe. But look, we have the Eastern parts like Lithuania, Greece, we have Belarus, we have Poland, we have Ukraine, and other countries down there, right? As Eastern Europe. We have the Western Europe, that is Germany, France, Italy, Belgium, Austria, Denmark, and Sweden, Spain. We have these countries that they call themselves the Westerners. And they are more powerful than the Eastern Europe. You know why? They were pressing Eastern Europe like the same way they were pressing Africans. They pressed the Eastern Europe not to prosper. They were pressing Poland, Lithuania. They used them as slaves. Do you know? This is a history that is in their political system. And this is the political system of Europe. So Ukraine was one of these countries that the Western Europe see them as a slave, but Ukraine get themselves and develop themselves to the extent they feed Europe in some way. The Western Europe, they feed them in some way. Do you know what happened? Now they see that Ukraine is getting out of hand. They couldn't control Ukraine because Ukraine have all the resources. Ukraine were having supply from Russia. They were powerful than even so many Western European countries. They were powerful than Italy. They were powerful than France. They were powerful than Spain. They were powerful than Belgium. So they get angry. The only way to destroy that, to make Ukraine to return back to slavery again, is to push Ukraine into war and destroy every resources that Ukraine have, to put Ukraine in hunger. Now all Ukrainians are migrating today to all these Western countries. Ukrainians are in Germany. They give them camp. They are paying them like immigrant. They call them Ukraine migrants. Ukrainians are in America. They call them Ukraine migrants. In UK, they call them Ukraine migrants. Now Ukrainians become migrants. They want them to go back to the slavery. The same thing they are doing to Poland also. The same thing they are doing to Poland. I swear to God, if they listen to me, people from Poland and Ukraine, they understand what I'm saying. They will understand very well. Just that I don't focus. I don't want to talk about the Western politics, but I know their politics game very well. The strategies they play. I know it very well. Russia wanted to join hand with Poland. What do? They are pushing Poland to deny. No, Poland said, no, we are not going to Russia. We want to go to European Union. What help that European Union will give to Poland? It's only to European Union is trying to make sure that Poland didn't join Russia, because if Poland joined Russia, Poland is going to be developed more than Europe. And Poland is going to be, at the end of the day, Poland will be feeding Europe. So they don't want to see that. They want Poland to stay in that stage as a slave to them and become Poland citizens are working for European, Western Europeans as a slave everywhere. If you go to Germany, you go to Malta, you go to Italy, France, you meet Poland citizens working as a slave for them. The same way we work for them. So that is, they disrespect them. The eastern part of Europe, the western part is controlling the eastern part of Europe and using them like the same way they use Africa. So this is the strategy that they do to Ukraine, because Ukraine economy was very strong. Ukraine economy was strong. The oil that they eat is coming from Ukraine. Believe me. The farine they eat is coming from Ukraine. Ukraine was having more of grain and sustaining their economy with that grain. Ukraine have a company that produce things, so many things in the market. Come on, so many things. That's why when Russia first attacked on Ukraine, they attacked that company. They first attacked that company to destroy it. Because Russia also know that is the main source. Come on, Ukraine's President Zelensky, who put him in power? Russian president. Russian president put him in power. He got into power because in the help of Russian president. So Ukraine and Russia was like a brother and sister. Ukraine and Russia, they were like brothers and sisters. So the West want to see that Ukraine came back to them. So the only way to make Ukraine to come back to them, the Western European countries want Ukraine to come back to them. The only way to push Ukraine back to them is to make Ukrainian economy low and to put Ukrainian back to the poor stage. How can they do that? Is to put Ukraine and Russia together. That's the time they form and they say that Ukraine should join NATO and send the application to Ukraine to join NATO. So Ukraine wanted to join. Russia said, no, don't join NATO because Ukraine is very closer to me. So when Ukraine joined NATO, it is going to be a threat to my security. That's where the problem began. My Africans, nobody will tell you this. How did all this problem started? So NATO now says, no, Ukraine will join by force. But they didn't accept Ukraine at that time. Why they don't accept? They said, no, Ukraine will not join. Russia said, if Ukraine intend to join any day, that will be there, I will fire Ukraine. They think it was a joke. Ukraine think it was a joke, but the Westerners know that it is not a joke because that's what they want. They want Ukrainian economy to go low. They want Ukraine to go back to them again as poor peoples working for them as slaves because they never want to see any Western European country to be developed like the same way they see Africa. This is Europe is into two parts. Eastern part and Western part. The Western part always want the Eastern part to become slave to them. They never want to see the Eastern part developing. So Ukraine was thinking like whatever Russia was saying is a joke. Russia will never fire them. But the West know that Russia will did. That's why they planned that. So after Ukraine forcing, saying by force they must join, Zelensky said he will join NATO, and NATO is saying join. But they didn't accept because they are not ready to give Ukraine the NATO membership. They just want to push Ukraine into war. That's why they wait. No, apply this application. No, we have to check this first. No, we have to check this first. They refuse to accept until Russia ready to intervene. When Russia started intervening, now they are happy. Now everybody forget about the NATO membership. Now there is war. They tell Ukraine, Zelensky, don't worry. We will supply you with weapons. Don't worry. There was a time before the war will start, Zelensky was rethinking that he will not join NATO because Zelensky was in a good mind that he can't fight against Russia. Russia is more powerful than Ukraine. Zelensky know it very well. So Zelensky want to back off. But who was giving support? Biden came out, says, don't worry, we will give you weapons. Go on, we will support you. UK came out, we will support you. Boris Johnson and other peoples, we will support you. The Western Europe, they were saying, we will support you. Okay, no problem. Zelensky was taking a little bit courage again to come back because he gave up for the first time. Now America, before even the war will start, America started pushing some weapons in Ukraine, telling Zelensky that, you see, we are giving you weapons. So that's where Zelensky get the full board to say, yes, I can do it. I never start war, they are giving me weapons. So it means when I start war, America will supply me with more weapons. Or UK will supply me with weapons, more weapons. I never start war, they are supplying me with more weapons. So that's the day that Zelensky decided that he must join NATO. That's the day also, in the evening around 6 o'clock, Russia started. When the war started, what happened? After 2-3 months of the war, America says, Ukraine, we cannot give you weapon anymore. Whatever weapon we give you, you will pay for it. A missile that in the world weapon market is worth like $200,000. America says, Ukraine, when you fire that missile, you have to pay $400,000 US. So now America now trying to use Ukraine to build up their economy. Western Europe is using Ukraine to build up their economy. Now all Ukrainians are migrating. Ukraine become poor now. They are happy. That's what they want to see. So they never love Ukraine. They always want to see Ukraine on this stage. As Ukraine is all destroyed now, no development, no economic system, no even political system. Now Ukraine is not even a country right now. We call it a zoo. That's how they want to see Ukraine. My brothers and sisters, understand that Africa, we need to rise up. We need to rise up. And to rise up, what all I can tell African youths, my African brothers and African sisters, is to be united. Wherever you are. To be united doesn't mean we need to come together in one place and say we are united. No. You can sit in your house, I sit in my house, and we are united. Why? We will all think the same thing. When I think about to be free, I am thinking about the same thing. And when you also think about freedom, to be free from the West, you will also think like me, even when we never see each other. So, never seeing each other, we can be united. Never being together in the same house, in the same country, we can be united, because when we have the same mentality, means we are united. When we have the same mission in different countries, no problem. Stay in Nigeria, let me stay in Gambia. Someone stay in Ghana. But we all have the same mission of freedom, and we will be liberated. Believe me. So united is what I am asking for Africans. Please, as an African brother or sister out there, always put it in mind that white people never love you, especially we who are living in diaspora. Please understand it. The people we are living among never love us. They are using us, and we should not let it to happen to our children. For us, they already use us because we can't do nothing now, but we have to fight for our generation coming. That's why we are fighting today. We are not fighting for ourselves. No, we can. Our fathers are supposed to fight for us. They were not able to do it. We came. When we were young, they never tell us about Africa. Even in our school system, education system, they ban the story of our slave masters, our slaves, our forefathers who were being used. In school, they never teach you about that. They never teach you about African political system in school, in African school. They never teach you how Africans have been used. They never teach you it is bound to be in a book. But what all we learn in school is white man's story. Who is the most richest man in the world? White man. They bring one white man picture in the book, telling you that, oh, this man is the richest man in the world. Now you are believing that white people have everything, while you have everything. They hide your identity from you, and they are giving you their own identity. They have fake identity. They ban so many things in Africa. In Africa, in school, they ban everything. In SES, as an English student, you understand social and environmental studies subject. That should be story of Kunta Kinte, that should be story of Fode Kabadumbuya, Mansa Musa, that should be story of Martin Luther King, that should be story in history in English school. When you talk about history subject, we should have all these things. Nelson Mandela, Mohammed Gaddafi, we should have all these stories about them, how they started, how they died, what caused their death. We need to understand. It should be all written in book, and we teach our children. And in this way, our children will know who they are. And what do Africa have when it came to SES, social and environmental study, what we have in our environments. How to protect our environments. This will be taught in SES. But are they teaching this? These are not there. The only thing that is there is, if you go to history, what do you learn about history? The first man to make an aeroplane is a white man. That's what you meet in history subject in English school. The first man to make an aeroplane is a white man. While it is a lie. The first man to make an aeroplane is a black man. Black magic. Al-Kablan, black magic. Go and watch Black Panther. Black Panther is being banned for European, for white people to watch. They ban it because Black Panther is a movie that educates Africans to believe in themselves and be themselves and trust in themselves. Black Panther movie is being banned from many social medias. Black Panther. So please, my fellow Africans, I will stop my life here, and I will thank everyone for you wasting their precious times to be with me here, and I appreciate it. Without you people, I will not be here. Because of Africans, I am here, and I keep on moving, and I respect and honor everyone for wasting your precious time to sit with me here and listen to me, and we share ideas together. I really appreciate it. It's more than when you give me millions. Before you will give me millions, it's better you listen to me, let's grow Africa together, than giving me a million. By giving me a million, for me, is when you sit and listen to me and we discuss how to grow Africa together. It is more than you giving me millions of dollars. Don't give me millions of dollars. Don't give me any money. But let's stick together and educate each other on Africa, how to move forward, how to free ourselves from the bondage that we have been living for decades now. So I appreciate and thank everyone for being with me here. May God bless you all. May God save you all wherever you are right now as a black African. God will save you from your enemies, and whatever your enemies plan against you shall never prosper. May God help us in whatever we are in search of or in trying to be in process of. May God help us to gain them easily. And every black African out there hustling in America, in UK, in Europe, in other white man country, may God save you from white man distraction. May God save you from white man brutality. May God protect us, give us long life and prosperity. Wherever you are as a black man, may God save you from your enemies. Whatever enemies of Africa plan against Africa shall go back to sender. And whatever you as an individual sitting watching me today, whatever your enemies plan against you shall never prosper. May God bless you. May God save you from your enemies. May God make your enemies to be tired of hunting you. May God make your enemies to always see you going higher and higher. Whatever your enemies plan, if your enemies plan your downfall, it should be your higher processing. May God make us to have good health and long life. God bless you all, guys, for being with me. I'm so happy being with you guys here. God bless you all. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me. May God bless you all.